All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a new guy here today. It's not the big D. There is some D here. There's two of them, actually. We still don't have a name yet, but I think we're going to go with this one. We liked it. We talked a little bit before. Austin and Oli. Yeah?
Yeah. I think it makes sense. I think it's quick. It's easy.
Right?
I think it's good.
Right? Still going to focus on Dallas sports mostly specifically, but we're still going to go and hit everything. You know, we got the Women's World Cup. That was kind of disappointing. If you stayed up for that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that. I'll tell you that.
No, there's no
MLB trade deadline ended today, a couple hours ago. We got some training camp stories we got to talk about, and then we'll at the end talk about Dallas sports. You know, hit all the teams that are playing at least, and somewhat Mavericks towards the end. So yeah, man. What do you think about the game?
You know, I obviously right. There's no shot I was gonna wake up. I mean, that's call me a fake fan. It is what it is, right? But
Yeah,
I'm kind of
glad,
looking at it and watching the highlights back and then kind of just hearing the discourse on it. It kind of just looks like a just bad performance. I know coming into the World Cup, right? I think that Vlatko, the head coach, he was kind of on the hot seat, and I mean the U.S. women, they're traditionally always number one power in the world, and I think you can see that the rest of the world's catching up. I mean, Spain and Japan. I mean, I know Japan just beat Spain. What was it, 4-0 2 days ago? But I mean, they're still great teams, and they're very obviously good opponents, and especially on our side of the bracket, it's not something you want to see. Especially, I think we just got worse as the World Cup kind of progressed. And I think like looking at the stats of the game and kind of seeing that the lineups and stuff like that. I mean, getting outpossessed by a team like Portugal, I think this is their first win ever in a or first points ever in a World Cup. Which,
wow.
As somebody that's won the last 2 World Cups and trying to go for a three-peat, which I mean anyway was going to be hard, but it's kind of disappointing from somebody
So you
like
said
the United States.
that was their first ever point for Portugal?
It was either first ever points or it was like
Or against
something
the US?
of that. Yeah, it was something of that nature in a World Cup. Which
Well, because I know I did read something where like the U.S. I forgot what the actual record was, but obviously they were undefeated and they outscored them it was a huge number. They hadn't even scored on them. Like Portugal has yet to score on the U.S.
Yeah,
They almost did at the very end. I'm gonna lie to you, that's the only clip I saw. I woke up this morning and I was like, they probably won. And then I was still half asleep, and I saw the clip of the girl hitting the post, and I swear I thought she scored. So I was like, oh shit, the U.S. lost.
And then to look at that, right, is like, oh, you're one post away from the U.S. being eliminated, and that's, I mean, probably the biggest.
That's embarrassing,
definitely the biggest
bro.
flop in Women's World Cup. But I mean, that goes back to looking at, what was that, Spain or whoever, Germany in 2014 when they got eliminated from the World Cup in a group stage, or 2018. So it's just like stuff like that is just you don't want that to happen. So I think a lot of stuff is wrong. I mean, the lineups. I mean, the way that Vlatko is kind of organizing the team, and they're, instead of trying to play through teams and show the quality that they have, they're trying to play long and looking like a championship team in England. So it's just
I think that's where they're gonna get beat. Yeah,
it
I think. Yeah, they think that. I mean, they should think. I mean, they're gonna be on the brink of, is it back to back to back? Would that be 3 in a row?
Yeah, 3.
And I think that'd be the first time in history for them to do that. And I think they're just taking it too lightly. And I don't know if you also saw the.
Yeah, the pregame. I mean, I get it, right? Like you want to be loose going into the game, but I mean, this is effectively, it was the first knockout game for us. I mean, we had to go in and get points and ensure that we just didn't get beat, and I think that's kind of how they played. Which, I mean, clearly, I mean, now it's looking like in the round of 16, you got Sweden, who's the number 3 team in the world, which, I mean, they've been playing great ball. So I mean, it's like, it's not going to get any easier from here. I mean, I think it's Sweden and then maybe England, and then England in the semis, and then Japan in the quarters. And Japan just beat Spain 4-0, and I think Spain was the second leading favorite behind the U.S. going into the tournament. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's not looking good. And
I'm gonna say, what's your confidence? Really, you think they still do it?
No, I think that pessimistically, right? I think that they lose in the round of 16 to Sweden if they play like they did. And they have been
I agree
playing.
too. And
because
I think you can just
yeah,
see it with them. I don't know if you saw they were celebrating after the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were
Just
happy,
doesn't make
taking
sense.
pictures with everybody. I don't know how you feel about that. I was like, I'd be disgusted if I was the coach or
Yeah,
anything
I think
else.
you should kind of be understanding like, oh, like, hey, we kind of barely got by. Post was the man of the
Literally, bro,
match.
last second
Like,
post, bro. Like you were this close of not making it past the group stage, and you're the favorite.
yeah, and then to go and like, I get the fans. I think that's fine. I mean, it's a long way around, and but
Hmm.
the dancing and just kind of acting like you're expected to go to the round of 16 just because you're the U.S.
Yeah,
and
that was
expecting
insane to
to,
me. And they
to
got second. They
yeah,
got second in the group, right?
yeah, they got second behind the Netherlands, and the Netherlands beat Vietnam 7-0. And I know they're different games, but I think it was 3-0 to the U.S. when the U.S. played Vietnam. So just I don't know. The rest of the world's
Wow.
catching up. It's not looking good.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. I haven't watched a single minute of the World
Yeah,
Cup. Times have just been bad. I
yeah,
wake up
it's
early,
tough.
gotta
It's
work
tough
early.
when
Yeah.
yeah, especially for like for us in the U.S. Like it's I mean the earliest game that they have is 8 p.m. and then now like and that's like, oh man, you gotta wake up and there's other stuff going on and trying to get ready for work the next morning. It's just tough,
Hmm. For
and
sure. I
especially
mean,
when they
I know
play
they
like
gave the
at 2
U.S. like
a.m.
two good slots, right? I think they played like 8 p.m. twice,
Yeah,
and then
and
this
then now
last one
because
they
we
probably
came
thought
in,
was a snooze fest.
yeah, and then now because that we finished second in the group, I think our at least the next two knockout round games are like 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. So it's it's tough. So
Yeah, I'll watch the highlights. I'll see the news stories the next day and the next
yeah,
morning. Yeah. All right. So who
but
do you got for favorites? I mean, you name a
yeah,
couple of them.
I think that Brazil on the other side of the bracket, I think they have uh, it's I think entirely the round like everybody that's gonna make the knockouts is gonna be a good team, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
different from the men's World Cup where you kind of expect like let's just call it four teams every World Cup that you think have a legitimate shot at winning, and I think that there's probably I'd probably say upwards of 10 teams that have a really good shot at winning. I mean,
Oh
even if
wow.
you wanted to look at a team like Colombia that have really right like never really done anything in the Women's World Cup,
Hmm.
and then now they're top of their group. I think they've won both their games, and they beat Germany, who Germany's a top 10 team in the world, and they're kind of playing well. So, if I were to bet, I would the two teams I would take. I'd probably say Brazil, and I'd probably say Japan. I think that Japan is
Oh wow. Okay.
they obviously just dismantled Spain, right, 4-0, and a lot of those were I think they got two early goals and they kind of played on the counter more. But I think if you kind of look at teams, I think that they kind of match up well with teams like that. And I know that they played a friendly against the United States. It was either sometime last year, I think, or the end of
Hmm.
last year or early this year, and I think that they played to maybe a 1-0 loss in the United States or a 0-0 draw, something like that.
Oh
So
wow.
I think that they have the ability, they have the structure to kind of do something. And if I were to bet, I think I would say Brazil, Japan, in the final with. I'd probably say Brazil win is probably where I would go.
I like that. And I think it's like, I mean, you could say like with any sports, like you can say maybe like you can compare it to like the Chiefs, with the dynasty and like the U.S. It's always been like
Yeah,
it's the U.S. They're gonna win every time. So I think it's just fun,
yeah,
especially just as the fan. Not as if you're a U.S. fan, you're probably
yeah,
not enjoying it as much. But if you're just a neutral and you're
yeah,
just like, hey, like looks like it's getting competitive, like you said, people are catching up finally. You know.
yeah. And I think
So.
that right, like I think the one thing that you have to look at in a World Cup is that the whole point of a World Cup is it's a celebration of soccer in
Mhm.
the world, and it's a point where the 32 and I mean I guess for the men's in 2026 48 or whatever, it's a chance for the best teams in the world to get together, and it's an opportunity for fans to see that. And so I think if you look at it from that way, it's still a cool atmosphere, and I've caught the highlights and stuff like that, and I think that there's
Yeah.
a lot of really really good soccer being played. So I mean it's great for the women's game that it's catching up to the men's in terms of popularity and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Selfishly, I wish that it would have been closer to, a watchable time zone for us. But it's kind of how the way it
Yeah.
works, and it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just them. We've been unlucky with a couple World Cups. just with
Yeah.
the time zones and everything. It hasn't been too crazy, I
Yeah.
think, but I mean, I remember I think Argentina was playing at a crazy time
Yeah.
sometimes, and it was just
Yeah. I
like just
remember.
stay
I
up
think
and
there were like
watch
3 or 4 a.m.s.
That's
It's
what I'm
tough.
saying. Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, if I had to pick, I'd probably like this is just me like blindly. I don't know. I like Netherlands. I don't know why.
Yeah. They
Maybe
played
I could
well,
see them get
man.
a run, or even England too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like looking at the tables right now, I mean, there's really like Colombia, Sweden, England, and Japan were the only four teams that won all three of their group stage games, or
Oh
two
wow.
that you
Yeah.
know. So I think it's the parity is there, and I think it's impressive. I mean, even looking at Group F, which is the one that Brazil is in, like right now they're in third place in their group with a game to go. I mean, Jamaica is just they beat Panama and they drew France, and they have
Oh
a
wow.
game
Yeah.
to go against Brazil to see who advances. So I think it's we'll see. I think it'll be there's a lot of really good things and a lot of good stories that I know that I've been seeing through the grapevine.
That's good. Yeah. Hopefully, I need to catch one. I see my friends posting all the time watching. I'm just like,
Yeah.
maybe once it gets closer, quarterfinals, semifinals.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
All
want to
right.
move to
So
MLB?
yeah. So
Talk about the trade deadline.
yeah, MLB Trade Deadline, man.
I
I'm
think that
kind of disappointed, if I'm be honest, as a Ranger fan.
yeah. I think I
Even though
think
we
that
just picked up all those big guys.
yeah. I think overall from the league as a whole, I was kind of expecting a little bit more. I know
Yeah.
probably you say like 2 weeks ago, right? You used to think that Shohei is going to be on the move.
No, they
And
just
that
they just teased us with that one.
yeah, right. And then like I know the White Sox were talking about Tim Anderson,
Cease.
their shortstop, was going
Tim
to be on the move.
Anderson. I don't
Like
even know if anyone inquired
yeah,
about Tim Anderson, if I'm being honest.
yeah. I think they just like took him off the block. I mean, pretty
Yeah.
early. And I think the only move that they really made was trading Giolito to who did they send him to? The Dodgers or somewhere out
Giolito went
west.
to the Angels. Giolito
Angels, yeah,
Angels. And Kendall Graveman got sent out to the Astros. I really liked him as a
yeah,
reliever for the Rangers.
yeah. I mean,
Um, who else? And then
I,
Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly and Lance Lynn are the ones that went to
yeah,
the Dodgers.
I was hoping that I would have loved to see Joe Kelly play for Texas. I think, and plus he obviously has that like attitude, right? And he's like proud
Against
of
the Astros
being
and
like
knowing he'd play the Astros
yeah,
again for sure, at least 3 games.
So I don't know. I think
Yeah.
from the Rangers, right? I mean, you make the big move for Scherzer, and you can get Montgomery and Stratton from
Yeah.
St. Louis,
I think that's
and I
huge
think
for the starting lineup.
I think that helps, and I think that'll just ultimately kind of push some of our starters back to the pen. But I mean, I can't say that I would have like loved. I mean, I know I was talking to you about Clase from
Ooh,
Cleveland.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, he
oh
stayed
my
too. He
gosh, like
stayed.
just bringing in
Went nowhere.
yeah, and bringing an arm like that, like I think that you see, the Astros go up their like two of their top four prospects for Verlander, which in my
That
opinion
was crazy.
is crazy.
That was
in
crazy.
general. Yeah, in general it's crazy, but still, I would have loved to see them make a move, but I don't think that going into the year, I don't think we were anticipating on trying to make a World Series run. So you kind of take it with that aspect and kind of look at it like that. And I think that it's
Yeah.
overall, I think it was pretty decent from a trade deadline, but I think you can't ever expect that. You can't expect to be back here next year. I mean, you could have.
That's the thing. You
I mean,
don't know how
Jonah
this team's going to
Heim
be like next year. Everyone's
yeah,
having
right. Like Adalis,
career
could fall
career high
off.
and
I
everything.
mean, yeah, Jonah Heim could fall off next year. Like the
Easily.
catching could come up to him, like in his legs. I
Leote's
mean,
probably not
Josh
going to
Jung
be
could
close to
regress.
300 like he is right now.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's having
I mean,
career highs and everything, so like it's really like win now. I mean, again, we weren't supposed to be competing.
yeah,
No one had us. I didn't think we'd be leading the division. I was like, maybe we'll get a wild card spot, maybe,
yeah,
because I wasn't
yeah,
scared of the Angels because they're the Angels. I was actually really scared of the Mariners for a little bit. I
yeah.
thought the Mariners. I
They're,
mean, they had a push last year, and then they just had a crazy fall off this year. I think.
yeah. I don't know, man. It's interesting. I think going down the stretch, I think it'll be pretty interesting. I know I mean, the division's back to one game for us, and then
Yeah.
the AL
But,
East
yeah,
is
Rangers
I mean,
about to start
obviously
here
pretty
soon. I
tight.
think. Yeah, just now.
Yeah, here I think it just started, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
So.
it'll be interesting going to see. I think one thing that I was pretty interested in was the Mets kind of deciding that
Oh
they
yeah.
they spent all that money, and then they like I think comments came out from Scherzer about talking with the owner, and they're like like we're not building for this year, we're building for 25, 26. and
I
to think
saw
that they
that. I was
spent all
like,
that.
bro, what's Scherzer
Yeah,
gonna do?
yeah. I mean, to pay all that money for Scherzer, for Verlander, and then even got
Verlander,
like Lindor, like all them, like just pay that egregious amount of money to say, oh no, we're still
we're good.
a
We're like
year
in
away
2
from
more
being a year
years.
away.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah,
That's
it
insane to
doesn't
me.
make sense.
If you're a Mets fan, that's gotta be. That's sad.
Yeah, I mean,
It's sad. Then you spend all that money, you got the highest payroll in MLB, and you're saying,
yeah,
we're gonna sell. We're gonna sell.
yeah, we're all right. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'll be a fun end of the season, and to see, are the Dodgers going to be something? I mean, obviously the Rangers just got swept by the Padres, so maybe they get hot and do something.
Better
And
hope they get hot. Yeah, there's no room for error right now. It
yeah,
really isn't. This
yeah,
last
for
2
sure.
months, we've been watching baseball consistently, and now these games matter. I'd get
Yeah,
mad when
absolutely.
we lose,
No,
but I know what happens. But now it's like I'm gonna be pissed when we lose, and when our
yeah, yeah.
bullpen blows the lead, I'm gonna be pissed again. But
I
yeah,
mean,
to your
yeah,
point with the rotation, I think what they should do. Well, I don't know if you saw. So they sent down the transitions went through. So we sent down Cody Bradford, which
yep,
I was kind of a
yeah,
fan of him. He was getting comfortable. I mean, they set him up for failure every time. His first start was against the
yeah,
Braves and absolutely got mollyrocked. Like, what do you think? It's Cunha
yeah,
and the best hitting team against lefties. Yeah, let's throw him out there for the
yeah,
first game. And then they sent down Yuri Rodriguez, so I'm glad about him. I did not like seeing him at all.
yeah. He got cooked this weekend.
Yeah, like he was just there to fill up a roster spot. But I
Yeah,
think Heaney has bullpen experience. He did that a lot with the Dodgers.
yeah,
So I think Heaney's going to be the one going to the pen, and he can be a guy that can get you like 2 or 3 innings for sure, and I think some really good ones. I mean, because
hmm
he's a swing miss type of guy. But the bad
yeah.
thing is
That's
that
true.
he does live around the zone, so he
Yeah, hittable.
does get cranked. He gets cranked. That's what my friend told me last year. I was like, hey, bro, how do you feel about Heaney? He goes, hey, bro, if he's on, he's getting you strikeouts. He's getting you 10 Ks.
Yeah,
Or he's giving up like
it's
3 or
just,
4 bombs. And guess what?
yeah.
That's what you
It's
get
what
from
it
Heaney.
is.
That's what you
Yeah.
get.
Because I mean, I think we definitely kind of have a pretty good like a three-headed monster. Of you got Scherzer, you got Montgomery, and then Eovaldi.
Eovaldi,
But
whenever he comes back, if it's not serious.
yeah, so I mean, they said that after he's off the 15-day, like he should be all right. So that's pretty good three, and then take your pick of what Keeney, Dunning,
Yeah, I
Martin
think
Perez,
your
and
4 is
Benedict.
for sure John Gray. I think. I
Yeah.
don't think
So,
he stays for sure. And then
and
that
so
fifth guy
I
is
like.
just gonna be. I think it's gonna be
I mean, one
Martin.
of those
Sadly,
three, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I think
And you still
that
have Dunning, like you said. Fuck.
I think you take Dunning, and I mean, I think last year, right, pretty predominantly he played out of the pen. So I think that
I mean,
you
he
you
started
kind
the
of
year off the pen. Yeah, he only went up
yeah.
because
So
next man up
I,
type.
yeah, and I think that he's been having a great year, but I think you take him to the pen, and if you need to throw a bullpen game, that's the guy that you put out there.
Yeah, for
Or
sure. No, you're
if
gonna have a lot of long relievers now. If you think about it, like you said, Heaney,
yeah,
Martin, and Dunning. When someone just can't get
yeah,
out, let's say third or fourth inning, he gets you hopefully
yeah,
a
let
solid
him go.
3. Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, then there's also the possibility. I mean, they maybe until the postseason they go 6-man rotation to try to save some of the wear and tear on the
Uvalde, I think
arms.
mostly for Uvalde and also Scherzer being older.
Yeah, I mean,
I
exactly.
definitely see that happening with, and also John Gray too. I mean,
Yeah,
he
so
seems to be made
I
out of
think that
glass
that's
too, and unlucky.
yeah, I mean, pretty typical right now around the rest of the team. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too shocked if for the time being the next like month or two they went for a 6-man just to kind of
Hmm.
save some of the extra games on everybody and kind of do that.
Yeah, and I think that's a good problem to have. Wherever you're struggling, you're like,
Yeah,
well, I don't know who we
absolutely.
want to put in the pen, bro. Like fifth guy, like we
Yeah,
have 3 guys for sure.
I
Or
mean,
you can throw Martin out the window. I'm not a big fan of Martin this year. So
I
those
mean,
two,
wait,
yeah. So
and then you got Chapman and Leclerc that you can have as
Leclerc,
like kind of
ooh,
close. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
So we'll see.
I don't
We'll
know,
see how
man. I
Strand
think
does.
yeah, I mean even if you go back to the 2020 season and you see who the Rangers were starting in their 5-man rotation to now, I think
Dude, it
that
was, bro. It was. I don't know how I was forced to watch them, bro. I was working there. I had to watch them. I had no other choice.
yeah.
I had no other choice. It
So
was
I don't know. I mean,
fucking
it's just
Fulton Evix.
is Taylor Hearn
Dane
starting?
Dunning was there. Taylor Hearn
Yeah,
was the opening day
that's it.
starter last year. I know that.
Yeah, That's unreal.
Who
Let's
else?
see.
Oh my God, Jordan Lyles. Oh my God. And then
Yeah,
Kobe
Jordan
Allard.
Lyles. I mean, yeah, like just that rotation and just to see kind of where we are now is something that's yeah. Kyle Gibson. I think Kyle Gibson had a pretty decent year, but like
Cal Gibson was
still,
an All-Star that year, yeah, and we traded him.
yeah. So I mean, just to see where we
So
are now,
yeah,
I'm
no,
I'm okay with it.
I know,
I
right?
think
No, for sure,
it's good to
and maybe
see.
just for next season, like you said, you don't know what will be here, but
Yeah,
obviously, I think free agency will be. You're going to be looking at relievers. Have to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have to,
And we
have
got
to.
some crazy other storylines other than the Rangers. Eduardo Rodriguez was a hot name for the Tigers. That was
Yeah,
supposed to get traded,
yeah,
and
that was
supposedly there was
wild.
a trade with the Dodgers, and he
Yeah,
said, "I'm
wild.
good. I'm
Nah, I'm
using my
cool.
no trade clause." How
Yeah,
do
and I
you
think he was only
say
like it
no
was like
from
a
to the LA Dodgers in Detroit? Like you're in Detroit.
yeah. I I can't say that if I was in Detroit, I don't think I would ever say no to anybody, especially being in
Especially
Detroit.
LA. Why do
And
you not want to go to LA? Supposedly he's like, oh, I don't want to leave my family. Like it's too far from blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
yeah,
You're playing with the
I
Detroit
don't know,
Tigers,
man.
bro. That's crazy to me.
It's crazy.
But
Absolutely unbelievable.
if we talk about winners and losers, I think you put the Dodgers in the loser section. They usually
Yeah,
go
you have
pretty
to, right?
big in trade deadline. Like they usually don't disappoint. But I think if you look at it, it's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, right?
Lance
'Cause I
Lynn
think
is their starter. I think he's starting today, so we'll see how he goes. Before he got traded, he got rocked. He got smoked.
yeah, and I think like they were everybody like there was so much smoke around them getting Shohei, and then
Oh yeah.
they were positioning themselves to try to do that, and I think that they just didn't have a plan B, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not looking good for them, and they're what lost 1, 2, 3, 5 of their last 7
Oh wow. See, but then
going
like it makes me
into
feel nice because I mean, you look at teams like the Dodgers, they're losing games. We're losing games. It
yeah
happens, and like, but the Rangers have still yet to get hot.
yeah.
Like our
I
biggest
think
win
that-
streak was 6 this year, and it was just now after the All-Star break when we
just
won the
yeah
back-to-back
just recently.
sweeps. And bro,
Yeah.
the A's have a better win streak than us this year.
That's crazy to think about.
The A's won 7 in a row this year,
That makes no sense.
and we've only won 6. And I'm saying like we just haven't gotten to that like win like 9, 10. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. It has to happen.
I think once they start getting people back, Corey gets back and
Oh, Corey, man.
Eovaldi gets
Please
back.
come
Yeah,
back.
Eovaldi gets back off the IL. I think that we have a good shot. It's just you got to get people healthy and got to stay healthy. I mean, when you're playing Grossman and he's like an everyday starter for us right now, I think that he's a good piece
Yeah.
to have, but I don't think he should be being an everyday starter for us.
Every
So,
now and then he gets on base, man. I
Yeah.
give him props. I think that Padre game, I want to say it was a Sunday game when I was listening to it on the radio. He got on base like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, bro, if that's all you do, that's fine by me.
yeah,
He's
and I
just
think-
he's not an outfielder. Not an outfielder.
I guess if we want to talk about training camp, kind of move to the NFL for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a ton come out. I think one of the main storylines was I think coming from the Jets and a lot around Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
And I know he just restructured his deal, take like a $35 million pay cut over 2 years.
That was insane. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, good for him, and I think he kind of understands that he's trying to win, and I think that's kind of the whole reason why he wanted to get out to Green Bay. And I mean, I know that there's been comments coming out from him saying that this isn't a 2-year kind of deal, this is a multi-year thing, and he's got a lot left in the tank. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was it? Literally
I guess we're
2
to find
seasons
out.
ago, he was MVP. So, I mean, I think that's kind of something that I'm not really surprised about. And the Jets have a really good young core. So, there's
They do. Yeah. Their defense is really good. Young wise, like you say, with Sauce Gardner.
yeah, and then you got like Garrett Wilson is a dog.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and then like Brees Hall, their running back, comes back from
Yeah,
20
Brees Hall,
ACL.
he comes back. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be really good. And I'll tell you what, I'm so glad Aaron Rodgers is not playing in the NFC anymore. I'm so
Dude,
tired of him.
he's out of the NFC, bro. This is really good for the Cowboys. I'm telling you, the NFC is so weak, man. I don't want to be
Yeah.
the guy, but like, if we just have a decent team, we
I don't
have
think
a
I'm
shot
even
to
worried
go
about-
to
I'm
the
not
Super
even
Bowl
worried
or
about defense.
even NFC championship.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about the defense. I think the defense is going to
Oh,
be fine.
You gotta be worried about
But
running
it's-
back position, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I think I love Pollard. I think he's a great back, but I
No,
don't
me
think
too.
he's
Yeah,
ever.
way better than
I don't
Zeke.
think
But
he's.
like, so this will be the first time we see him take the whole load all season,
Yeah,
off an
yeah,
injury.
yeah.
So, and then we had Zeke's replacement in Ronald Jones, and he got suspended for 2 games.
Yeah. And
So
I
he's
mean,
doing good.
I think Malik Davis he's a good back, and I think he's
He's a
definitely
big back,
interesting.
yeah.
But I don't think that I think that you got one last season of Tony Pollard, and I hope they don't pay him just for the. It
Oh
sucks,
wow.
and it just
Mm.
is the business. I think because I
It's the
think that
truth, though.
if they were gonna, yeah, I mean, like you give Zeke however much money you give him, and then look what happens immediately regressing. I mean, even going back a little bit further, Todd Gurley was a premier back and just
It's a
like
dog.
basically helped carry the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then he's retired at 28.
That's insane.
So I just think that that's kind of something, and it's a lot of discourse around the NFL right now about not paying
The
running
running
backs.
back position, yeah, everyone's really butthurt about that.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense in my opinion. It sucks, and it's taboo to say it, but I think that's the business, and you have to look at it as a business. I mean, I was a big Zeke guy. I thought he was great back, and the 2016 and 2018 seasons that he had with the Cowboys were great, but
Unforgettable, yeah,
it
if you're a
was,
Cowboy fan, for sure.
yeah, yeah. So
But no, like you said, it's tough now, man. It's just game's a lot more physical. You got bigger guys, tackling, and like, yeah, you got all the doctors now. But then like, you got Saquon too asking all this money. I'm like, my guy, you're day to day
and
on
this was the first. I
the
mean,
injury
this
report
was the
every day.
the, the first season that the season he just played was the first time that he's played a full season in 3 years almost. So. And I think that he's worth the money, but it's again like I don't think any GM wants to take the risk of paying, let's say, 15 a year to a running
Mhm.
back that is almost going to immediately regress in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean
And
that's just how it is. I
not a
want to
good
say it's
return
almost
on
like
the
a
investment.
freaking car. Once you take it to the dealership, bro, it just
Yeah,
goes down,
it's
bro.
tough, man.
As
It's
much as it
tough.
sucks, yeah.
So
And I think
it's part of it.
we're the ones to blame. If I'm being honest, the Cowboys. They probably look at the Zeke situation and go, "Wow, guys, look how good he was doing.
Look how it turned out.
Paid him the
Look how
big
it turned out.
bucks, and look, we cut him. We have to cut him."
Yeah,
And
and
I
it's
hope he
just
comes
like
back. If I'm being honest, on a friendly deal.
yeah. I mean, I think that for you give him a vet min or give him
Oh yeah.
give him 2 or 3 mil a year. I think for even just a 1 year deal, I think it's fine. I mean, he was great in goal line and short yardage situations. And
Oh yeah.
I think
Anything for
that's-
1 yard, bro. I think he had like one of the best
Yeah.
like ratios, and he had like what? How many touchdowns did he have last year? I want to say it was pretty high.
it was almost double digits, I think. And
Yeah, exactly. And if he was at the one, it's like, bro, he's just powering through, and that's all you need. That's points. Doesn't matter how you get him,
That's
but
it.
that's points.
That's it.
No matter how you use
And
him.
I think that Pollard is a great receiving back, and he's great. I think he's a great first and second down back. But some of the other things that Zeke brings is he's a great pass protector, and
Very
that's
great
one
pass
thing that I
protector.
think. And I think that that's one thing that we're going to start doing a little bit more is kind of relying on Dak, which it's a quarterback-driven league, and it's kind of what we have to. So, I mean, it's great to have him back there because it's like having an extra, like instead of keeping a tight end in for pass pro, you can have Zeke stay back there, and he's gonna pick up that blitz. And I mean,
Yeah, he was really
also
good
just
at
for
that.
the
Unless you put him under
sentimental
center.
aspect of it. Yeah, I was just about to say,
Playoff
the
game.
sentimental aspect. I can't leave him as that be his last play as a Cowboy.
That is so embarrassing, bro. That is so embarrassing.
That's tough, man.
What's it gonna be this year for us? What's gonna happen in the playoffs? That just fucking kills us.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to think about it.
I've
Let's
seen
just
a
hope we make
lot of-
playoffs. Yeah, you guys making playoffs this year? For sure.
Yeah. I think the Eagles are going to regress. I don't think that
Okay.
I'm not a big Jalen Hurts guy personally. I think that
Ooh.
Jalen Hurts had a great season, but I don't think that he's not a Mahomes, right? He's not in my
Oh,
opinion,
for sure,
right?
yeah.
That upper echelon of quarterback is Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, I would say.
Yeah.
And
I think that one easily you can say that, and then like once it gets like 3, 4, 5, 6, I think that's where
Yeah,
it just
and, like,
flip flops.
I
One
think
and two
that-
is easily Mahomes
they're
and Burrow.
those two, right? And then I think that I think Jalen Hurts is kind of in the same tier as Dak, and I think that he's somebody that can win you games, but I don't think that he will always win you a game, and I think that's the problem. is that like their defense I don't think is going to be near as good. I think that they're going to have a really good interior of their defensive line. They just drafted Jalen Carter, that massive D tackle out of Georgia, and they already had another. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that they had drafted
They had 2
last
first-round picks, bro. Yeah, this year,
it was just
and they went
unreal.
crazy with him.
So I mean, I don't think they really have a running back because I think they lost Miles Sanders to the Panthers.
Yeah, I think we kind of do tend to forget, but I think they have DeAndre Swift.
That's a good
if you
point.
remember
I
that.
did forget that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
As I know, a lot of people, everyone forgets about it, bro. Like, I listen on the radio, like, who's their running back? And in my head, I'm like, bro, they traded for DeAndre Swift.
I forgot. I completely forgot about it. I mean,
because the Tigers, the
Lions.
Oh, the Lions. I mean, I was thinking the Detroit Tigers.
The
Lions. Yeah, the Lions. They traded for a running, they picked a running back in the first round this year.
Yeah, and then
that's why I was like, bro, you have DeAndre Swift. And I think did they keep what's his face? Is it Jamal Williams or am I saying that? No, it is Jamal Williams.
No,
right?
he's in New Orleans now. So the Lions went completely new, and I think they got the Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama.
Jahmyr Gibbs, there you go. Yeah.
So and I've seen a lot of like really good stuff on him during camp and saying that he's pretty much already taking the first down responsibilities and he's played a lot of receiver too. So.
So we'll see how that pays out for them. I think the Lions are a pretty good sleeper team, if I'm being honest.
I want to say they're favored to win the division. It's the first time that they've been favored to win the division.
They are. I mean, without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of. I don't know. You really think the Vikings aren't going to win that division?
I think the Vikings are. I would, if I were to bet, I would bet on the Vikings personally because I think that there's a lot of hype around the Lions right now, and I think that the people kind of forget that. I mean, 2 years removed from the Vikings being 13-3?
Yeah.
So,
I think their record really didn't represent what they did last year. They were one of the worst. If you looked at their record, they were way better than what their record showed, I think, last year.
You know what? Actually, I think they were a really good team last year too. They finished pretty well, and they played in a lot of one-score games and won them maybe. I don't know.
They were really close in a bunch of games, and then they lost a home playoff game against the Giants.
Yeah, so and if I were to bet, right, I would think that. Yeah, I mean they were 13-4 last season, the Vikings.
Oh wow!
So
then what was the season before? Then I think I'm thinking about probably.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, I mean they had a home playoff game and lost. I mean they were 8-1 at home, and so I think that. But what's crazy is that you're 13-4, and you still have a negative point differential.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I think that's kind of something. So.
And yet a negative. Yeah. Oh God.
And I think that shows that they played a lot of one-score games that kind of went down to the wire, if I remember. So I think that kind of says something. And I mean, you can't really ever count out, right? I mean, Kirk and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you have Justin Jefferson in your team, man. And I mean, they did get rid of Thielen, right? I forgot where he got traded to.
Yeah,
they got rid of Thielen.
I think he's in. I want to say he's in Carolina. I think is where he's at.
That's how it is. I forget that people get traded. This is the worst time to remember of stuff until season starts and you see someone in a different uniform and you go like, oh shit, yeah,
it's like, oh, completely forgot. Yeah, you start doing like fantasy drafts and stuff like that, and you're like, oh,
exactly, that's coming up soon. I'm waiting, so excited.
Yeah, and I need to get that going. But well, I mean that's pretty much all that's going on in the NFL. I mean, I've seen there's a bunch of like injuries, and that's gonna happen.
I was gonna say one major injury that I can think of was Tim Patrick, tearing his Achilles.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks,
he missed all last year, missing all this year. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, another huge name that got hurt.
Yeah, he tore his meniscus, I think is what it was.
I forgot what it was, but they said and that's why they signed Eli Apple as his replacement for now.
Yeah.
And then,
bum.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to.
Also, Joe Burrow too, with his calf strain, I think, or something like that. So that was another big. I remember when that happened. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and
but other than that, I think that's really all the news.
Yeah, for that, and I mean, we can start swinging around and kind of focus. I know we've kind of already hit on the Rangers and the Cowboys. We can kind of swing back to the Padres series this weekend if you're ready for it.
Yeah, let's do it. What'd you see, man?
Yeah, I think some big takeaways is the bats weren't there.
God, it was so bad.
I mean, obviously swept, right? 7-1 loss on Friday, 4-0 on Saturday, and then 5-3 on Sunday, which I think the Sunday game was really the only game I think that we were really in, especially going into the top of the ninth, right? I mean, you have a big double from Lowe, and
Yeah,
get Josh Young to the plate
on a
to have a
bases
shot at,
loaded. I
yeah,
don't
to have
want
a shot at.
dude, that at bat pissed me off, man. Where was I? I think I was heading
Yeah,
back and I was watching it and like Adolis had just walked and like I'm
yeah.
surprised Adolis walked. If Adolis walks, that's crazy to me. He's not hacking at anything, bro. But
His
Josh
bat
Young
is
comes up and
going.
goes, "Don't you worry, Adolis. What you were trying to
Yeah,
do, I'm gonna try to do. I'm trying to go for the fences
yeah.
every time. The first
And
pitch is on the
then
fucking dirt, bro.
and
God,
yeah,
and like you've been seeing
it's
the
crazy to
pitches.
me.
Hader had a terrible command that inning. Terrible. They
Yeah,
literally said when he was warming up that he was hitting the backstop like it was bad. Like he was just chunking him.
it's
Man,
just it sucks. And like I was like looking at the stats from the weekend, and what was telling to me, and I think it kind of paints the story of how bad that the Rangers were hitting was. Friday, they were 1 of 8 with runners in scoring position, and they left
oh
10 guys
god,
on base.
not this
Saturday,
again.
they were 1 of 9 with runners in scoring position, less 7 on base. Sunday, they got better. You know, they were 3 of 10 with runners in scoring position
Oh
and
god.
left 11 on base. So, I mean, if you add them all up together, we were what, 5 and 37 with runners
That's
on
insane.
scoring position, and left. Man, what is that? 28 people on base. It's just
See, I mean
that's
that's
not
the
winning
thing
baseball.
about base. That I was about to say that's baseball. You know,
That's
like,
not.
I mean,
I
like you
mean, yeah,
said, we were tearing it up for. We were first in the league in like runners in scoring position. Like we had a high number, like slugging, everything, OPS. It was
yeah,
like it wasn't attainable. We knew that. But then we get games
yeah,
like this where
absolutely.
you see it in like chunks in a row, like just 3 games in a row, and you're just like, bro,
This is brutal. Yeah, it's brutal.
frustrating.
And I mean, like, I think like on Friday, I think Dane Dunning was fine. I mean, 5 innings pitched,
He
5
wasn't
hits,
terrible.
3 earned. I think that like you have your starter go 5 and only give up 3. I think that you would expect that your bats to be a little bit better than that.
Yeah, he's giving you a
Um,
chance to win.
exactly, and that's what you can ask for, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, Yeti Rodriguez gives up 4 earned in an inning with
That's when
2
I
walks. I
stopped.
think that's
Did he even get an out? I think he had one out. I think that inning.
he apparently he pitched the whole inning, which is
Oh,
surprising to
okay.
me. I mean,
I
yeah,
think
I would
Bochy
never
was just
guess.
tired of it. And he's like, you know what? Just throw him out there, let him be out there. Screw it.
Yeah. So
And
I
now he's
mean,
done. So I'm glad we have to see him again. Hopefully.
yeah. And then I was when I was looking back at it, I was surprised that Josh Young was 3 of 4 that day, but
Oh
with a
wow.
run scored. So I
Wow.
mean, that was kind of the only. That's probably the best performance at the plate that we had all week, barring Nathaniel Lowe on Sunday.
I was about to say Nathaniel Lowe
So
he's been raking since
he's been killing it.
after the All-Star break. He had a pretty slow start, but to his standards, like he wasn't even doing bad. I think he was batting like 260 something. You know, he only had
Yeah.
barely over 10 home runs. But like last year, he was a Silver Slugger. So we're
Yeah.
expecting a little bit
And
more. But he just got Player of the Month for the Rangers, and
Yeah, I
I've
saw
always
that.
liked Nathaniel Lowe. He's been my guy for the Rangers for the longest. Like when it's not the big guys like Simeon Seager or Dolis or whatever. He's
Yeah.
my favorite player on the Rangers by far. I think he's improved a lot better too. I think at first base because he knew that was his weakness. So he spent a
Yeah.
lot of time, and I think he's a pretty good first baseman now. He'd be diving for
Yeah,
plays,
I
and I'm like,
think-
whoa, this guy chill out there.
Yeah, so
I don't know how
I
he got
think
that.
I mean, looking at it, the last 7, he's 6 of 17 with a home run and 3 RBIs. So, I mean, and he's overall the whole season, even with the slow start, he has an OPS of like 836. So
Exactly.
I think
That's good.
that's been. I mean, that's all you can ask for, especially in the majors. So he's
Mhm.
giving you the production that you need. So
Yeah. So I'm glad that
I think
he's
that's-
getting like back on track a little bit. You know, so he maybe even going for that Silver Slugger.
Slugger
It's kind of
again.
like crazy to think he was a Silver Slugger last year, and he was the only infielder this year for the Rangers not to be in the All-Star game. That just shows you how
it's unbelievable.
slow of a start
Yeah.
that he had, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so no, I think looking ahead, right? I mean, we got the White Sox starting tonight and the Marlins this weekend, and I think they're both at home, right? Is that correct?
yeah, they're gonna have a homestand. Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully, maybe try to get lucky and go 5 of 6 here to kind of keep a little bit of cushion between us and Houston. I think that'd be nice. I know we got a big series against Houston coming up here at the end of the month. Start of
I
Labor
want to
Day,
go to
so
every single one of those games, bro. They're during the week. I need to be
I'll
at
be at
every
that.
single one of those
I'll-
games.
Yeah, I'll be at the Labor Day game So
I forget that
I'll
it
be
was
around.
because I saw Monday and it was the first game. It was 3:05, and I was like, why is it at 3:05? And I was like, oh, it's
Yeah,
Labor Day. I'm
Labor
off that
Day.
day too, but they're almost sold out I think for that day already on Monday.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's a big
And
game.
it's the
So
Astros, bro. I have to be there. I'm trying to go Tuesday and Wednesday too, bro.
what are
Imagine
they
you
at
see
7
Scherzer Verlander.
Hey,
I
that's
don't know
box
what
office.
the odds possibilities of that happening. I mean, it's likely. It's 3 days, so maybe you'll see it one of the days.
Yeah.
So that'd be
You never know. I
insane.
mean, just
Watch
kind
him
of see
play.
how it works out. But you
Yeah.
got Heaney on the mound the night, and
Mhm.
I was like kind of looking ahead to see who was starting. And the guy that the White Sox are starting tonight, he's made 2 starts all season. This is his third, and
Oh,
he's
God. I mean, they got
made
rid of the whole
16
pitching staff
appearances.
almost.
Yeah, so I know, and I think Dunning is starting tomorrow. I think is what I saw. They hadn't like the Rangers haven't officially announced it, but I think that's what I saw on Twitter. And then you got
Yeah, I think that I saw them post like the
the
like
probable starters
the probable starters. Yeah, Scherzer's for sure on Thursday.
Thursday. So that'll be
Yeah.
definitely need to see that and tune in and see.
Yeah, they
Scherzer's
haven't
first game
announced
in the Rangers.
Wednesdays yet.
Yeah, I think
So
that the rumor was that Dunning was going to start, but because what
because
his
he
last
pitched when
start
you
was
said
on
Friday,
Friday.
Saturday,
Yeah,
Sunday,
so Saturday,
Monday,
Sunday,
Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday. So that'd be on 4 days rest,
That'd be 4 days of
which
rest.
it's kind of short. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
'Cause is John Gray on IL right now, or what's going on with him?
I thought it'd be John Gray because I mean, when was the last time he
Yeah, it
pitched?
might. Yeah, because I guess I haven't seen him pitch in a while. I don't
I don't
think
think he's hurt.
unless
No, he
was
shouldn't
it.
be hurt.
Yeah, so then. Yeah, I mean, I could see John Gray pitching on Tuesday then too.
Yeah. But no, yeah, this is a really. I mean, we gotta take advantage. I think of the White Sox knowing that they already threw in the flag. But it's
Yeah,
gonna be tough. I think Wednesday is Cease, so
yeah.
that one's gonna be.
Wednesday
Everyone thought he'd
Steve.
be traded by now, so I was like, you know what, we don't have to worry about playing against Cease. He's not. He's gonna be on
Yeah,
our
that's
team or
fine.
he's gonna be on another team. But that's not the case. So he
Yeah,
stayed.
so
So that's gonna be tough still. But I think you have to take. I mean, winning a series is what you can ask for bare minimum. I think.
yeah, I agree.
So you take 2 out of 3 every single one. So
I think yeah, I
that's
think
4 out of 6.
that's what you gotta ask for. That's what you gotta ask for. And then I think we have
Obviously, if you go sweep, then
the
yeah, I'll take that.
yeah, and I think you have the A's after Miami in Oakland. So
Yeah.
I mean
Looks
these
like we
next
got. Oh wait, yeah, Oakland. Yeah,
so I
I was
mean
looking
of
at
the
it.
next 9 you win, let's say 7 out of 9 maybe. I think
Dude, that's a great stretch of games.
that's a great stretch. I mean even if you
Have
were 6 out of
to.
9 and win all the series and just drop one every
Yeah, because the Astros are playing the Guardians this week, and then they got the Yankees right after, so that's a little tough on them.
yeah, it's tough.
And then after that, they got who do they have? You got the Orioles. So I think we can really take advantage of this. If we're winning games, they're playing some really good teams.
Yeah, right.
And Guardians, I
knew
think, are
that.
the lead in their division.
Yeah, and then we knew that once the Rangers got into August, I think that it was going to be a little bit easier. We came off of a tough stretch of games after the All Star break. So I mean,
We did,
playing
and
guard,
we came in hot. We had the 6 game. We had the 6 in a row
yeah,
with Tampa and Guardians, right?
Tampa and Cleveland, yeah, in Cleveland,
Yeah, Tampa and Cleveland. You win 3 against Tampa, which is massive.
yeah,
And then you have Guardians that were leading their division at that time. Then you come against the Dodgers, and when everything started to hit the fan,
yeah, kind of fall off.
where they got absolutely
Yeah,
obliterated. But you take 1, you go to the Astros, you lose 2,
yeah,
and then
I mean, I think like if you look everything in retrospect, I think that if you would have told me that after the Astros series that we still had a 2-game lead in the division, I think you would have been pretty content with it, right?
oh yeah,
It's just how you get there, and to when you see that you had a chance at extending the lead a little bit and maybe going 3 or 4 games ahead, but I mean, is what it is, and I think it's got a lot of baseball left. I think we still got like 30 or 40 games maybe. So
you got I think 2 months of baseball left from what I heard. Like exactly, you got August
yeah,
and September.
so I think it'll be all right, and just gotta hope that the
Yeah.
Astros drop some games.
Yeah, I really wonder
So
what the I'm just looking forward to what the record's going to be like when we play them again in September. Because it's probably going to be another crazy, like within like 3 or 4 games for sure. I think if we can make it larger than that, obviously I'll love that.
yeah, absolutely. I got a cough again, dude.
My man's sick.
I don't know what it is, dude, but I get like this thing where I get like a dry spot in my throat. It just makes me cough. Like during our wedding, during the wedding,
Uh-huh.
I was literally at the altar, and the priest was like, "Hey, do you want a bottle of water?" Because I could not stop
Oh my
coughing.
God, you look nervous right now. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, I know.
that's crazy.
All right, so
Okay.
Cowboys.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's touch a little bit on Wyatt Langford if you want to talk a little bit
Oh
about him.
yes,
Just like
yes, yes.
briefly,
I
man.
didn't.
He's been
Yeah.
dogging. He just started
Yeah. I
playing,
mean,
bro, and he was a triple shy of the cycle. Was it yesterday?
yeah, triple shy of the cycle last night, and then I don't know if you saw, but he already got moved up to high A
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah, tonight.
They
So
said
I
they said
mean,
it's too easy for my guy. He looks
yeah.
natural up there, man, and he just
I,
bro, he's massive.
Yeah, and I mean,
He's
I
huge.
honestly wouldn't be surprised if probably let's call it this time next season if he's playing left field every day.
I think so too. You think he comes up before Evan Carter?
I think so because he's like I think he's a little bit more advanced just because he played the 3 years in college,
See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking too.
right? And I think that I mean even if that he's not fielding, and I could see him contributing just or pushing Adolis to just play DH and let
Oh,
Langford
wow.
play left field or right field. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that'd be crazy to
I
put.
mean,
I'd probably move Tavares DH if anything, just because I think you need a Dolis out there
yeah,
for the outfield, because
yeah,
he's a good outfielder,
that's a good
you
point.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
but
point. So I
I don't
mean,
know. I don't know.
really,
Maybe
like,
you figure it
I
out.
wouldn't
Yeah.
really wouldn't be surprised if this time next year our starting outfield is Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, and Adolis or Leote. I mean,
Yeah. At this pace is actually crazy. At this rate, if you see that, because I think what they're
right?
planning to do, I think, is Evan Carter to hope maybe be your starting at the like opening day, right?
Opening day at center field. You think?
Yeah. And next year, I think is what they're trying to aim for.
Will
If he
they
keeps
move
it
him
up,
up to AAA at all, or will they just keep him
I don't
in
know. He keeps
Frisco?
staying at Double A, right? He's still at Frisco.
Yeah, and he's been at
I don't know.
Frisco
Some
pretty
guys
much.
kind of
I think all year.
skip AAA, and I'm not a big fan of that. I was like, can we see them at least perform in AAA? Because it's still a
Yeah,
bump.
yeah, I don't know, man. And I think we have a lot of like we probably have 3 or 4 prospects in the top 10 that are at AAA or ready to go next year. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I think you have like Evan Carter, I could see him next year. Owen White,
Owen White,
um, Foscue, even. Like I
Foscue,
mean, they're
maybe,
all
yeah.
Foscue's
A
at
little another
AAA right now.
infielder, so
So
we'll see. Yeah, maybe next man
yeah,
up type.
yeah. I mean, it's a lot to be excited about next year, and I don't think that Langford will be opening day because that's a quick turnaround.
No, I don't think
I mean,
so
he hasn't
either. I think, like you said, roughly around this time, if
this
he just
time you
keeps
see
doing
why
what he's
Langford.
doing, they're gonna make it like
Yeah.
almost impossible not to call him up.
I mean, yeah, like I really wouldn't be surprised if he starts out the season in AAA next year, or not AAA, Double A, and
Oh yeah,
he's at Frisco next year. I mean, who's to say that he doesn't get promoted to Frisco this year? I mean, he just like goes to Hickory and gets, I mean, just
he's
rakes.
a couple of bats in. Yeah,
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, yeah, that's one of those things where you're glad that
It's a
he
good
fell.
problem to have. Where we're here like debating who's gonna be our outfield because we have way too many. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I do too.
So yeah, Cowboys training camp. Any specific notes? I want to talk about
Yeah,
Deuce Vaughn if we can.
yeah. No,
He
go
just
ahead,
makes me
man.
laugh. He makes me laugh every time I see a video of him.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know if
him and
people are
like,
making fun of him on purpose because it's like, oh, look at Deuce Vaughn, and it's like obviously it was like the non-padded practice and like a little toddler running through.
he
He's
just
so
looks
small,
so
bro.
small.
How
But I
tall is
mean,
he?
everybody's been he's 5'5", which
Dude, I'm
like
taller
if
than
you
that
think about
guy.
it is, bro. Like if you think about it, like Darren Sproles, he was 5'6", 190, and Darren
Uh-huh.
Sproles was like tiny. Deuce Vaughn is
Yeah.
5'5", 180. So like
He looks
even
tiny
smaller.
already.
Yes, bro. So
Golly.
I think that the thing is though, like I watched him play a lot in college, obviously, and I saw him in person when I was at the Big 12 championship against TCU. So
Mm-hmm.
like that guy, I mean, he's kind of the embodiment, in my opinion, of somebody that like don't let the size fool you, because I mean he's a playmaker, and I think there are people that just have that size and they may just be small. It is what it is. Like they can make plays, and I think that there's one position that you can do that. It's running back.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you can't be a wide
And I think
receiver
that,
at like 5'5" or
no,
corner or
right,
anything
and
else.
I think for like he's a foot smaller, a foot shorter than some of our offensive linemen. I mean, he's like, imagine him running behind them. Like he's literally gonna blend in. What are you gonna do? But I think he's a baller.
I hope I get to see one of those plays like that this year. That'd be so funny.
Like just a little slip screen. Just let him hide right there behind. Like let him hide. Just let him go.
And they probably won't even see him, bro. They probably think Dak's out there by himself. Like, you know, no one's next to him. No one's, it's just.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that, like,
oh god.
I think in clear passing downs, if he's not running a route, I think it's pretty clear that you can't have him in there for pass protection. I don't think he can pass pro very well.
No, he's getting bulldozed, I think, and like there's nothing against him. Right. It's just.
It is what it is. So I think he's a dog, and I think he'll make plays, and I think he'll make the team, and I think that he'll be useful. And I mean, I think that we probably carry. Without, like, if we were to have somebody like Zeke, I think we carry 2 running backs and then 1 on the practice squad. But because we're kind of relying on Pollard, I think that we probably carry 3 throughout the most of the season, and hope that Ronald Jones or something like that is all right and can kind of alleviate the need that we have when he comes back from suspension.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know if that's going to just send him backwards now with him being suspended. Yeah.
The good thing is he'll still have preseason. I mean, I think he's still able to participate in.
Yeah, I think he played preseason, but he just missed the first 2 NFL games.
Yeah.
But
some of the stuff that I've seen is I think a lot of people are making fun of Dak throwing interceptions. I think that just is what it is, and I'm not too worried about it because it's 7-on-7 or 1-on-1s, and you want to give your receivers a chance to make a play. To if he's not throwing to somebody like CD or Brandon Cooks to work on giving these guys a chance to make a team. And I think that I'm not too worried about interceptions with Dak this year. I think that he kind of just made some he got kind of screwed this past season with a lot of, like, I think the end of the Jacksonville game is like the most egregious.
Easily you can think that one because we lost that game.
Thing. Yeah, like there's stuff like that happened all season where it's like number of tip passes that cause interceptions. So I think that just the odds of that happening again is I don't think that's really going to happen. So, and I think that everybody's going to progress. I think CD's going to be. I mean, he's a dog already, but I think but like you get somebody like Brandon,
he blew up last year, but I think he's gonna blow up even more.
Yeah, I think this is the year that he gets talked about in that same conversation as like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like those kind of guys, because he just has that kind of talent. And I think that I want to say that it was him actually that talks about Dak this upcoming season and saying that be ready for a lot of vertical balls,
watch out for him. Yeah, he's gonna be
because that's what that Kellen Moore wasn't really that kind of OC, and I think that McCarthy and with having somebody like Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup who are stereotypical outside receivers. They're guys that you're gonna send on a vert. You're gonna throw it up to him, let it run under, or in Michael Gallup's case, he's gonna goal line situation. You want somebody to go up and get it, you throw it to Michael Gallup, and that's gonna open up so much for CD on the slot. And I think that a lot of those like crossing patterns, deep ends, corner routes, like stuff like that, CD's just gonna eat, and it's just
I think so. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I keep hearing good stuff about Gallup. I heard that I think he can really get put under the radar, obviously, since last year and like coming off an ACL tear.
Absolutely.
But I think he's getting his confidence back, so he's looking pretty good out there. And him and B Cooks, man, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited.
I think it's just gonna be like really. I think our top 3 receivers are gonna be something special. And I think we're going to go away from relying on tight ends like we've traditionally relied on them with. I mean, before it was
Jason
Dalton
Witten.
Schultz and Jason Witten before that, right?
Jason Witten and then like Jaws for a little bit.
Yeah.
Jarwin.
Yeah.
And then you had Schultz.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and I think this year, like our the guy that Dak is going to have as a safety valve is going to be CD.
Yeah.
So. It's going to be interesting. I'm pretty pumped for it. So, and I think the first preseason game, August 12th against the Jags. So
that's coming up.
A week from Saturday.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame game is this Thursday, I think. Friday maybe.
Oh, really?
Browns. Yeah, first preseason games this week. So
Wow.
it'd be
I
pretty
need
interesting
football
to
to come
see.
back. I'm
Football's back,
itching,
man.
bro. I'm
Football's back.
itching.
Football is back.
I'm itching,
So
bro. Once I make my fantasy draft, that's when I know it's back. It's coming up
that's
soon.
when you know it's real, huh?
Yeah.
Uh,
Talking about
I
wide
don't really have
receivers. We're
anything
gonna
else.
stay on that
Yeah.
topic. I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
go ahead.
there's Turpin and Tolbert. I think are fighting for a spot for wide receiver
Yeah, I
4.
think I've seen that. I think Tolbert is going to be the guy that gets it. I think that one, they invested draft capital in him, so he has a little bit of a longer leash than Turp does, and I think that Turpin is kind of more of a gadget guy and return guy, and I think the addition of Deuce Vaughn kind of takes that need away. Really, specifically on kickoff return, I think that Deuce did that at Kansas State, and so I think that kind of alleviates the need to have it. I don't want CD to return punts. I don't think CD should ever return punts as our number one wide
That's
receiver,
scary.
but he has the
I think that's really
capability
scary,
to do
to be
it.
honest.
Yeah, so he has the capability
I
to
don't
do
like
it.
that.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they send. I know I saw videos of Deuce taking punt returns in
Oh, wow,
Oxnard, so
okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does. They have him do something like that, and I think that Turp is unfortunately one of those camp casualties that are one of the last cuts before the 53.
Yeah, no, I know he's
I mean,
battling.
but
He's making it hard on them because I know he's looking good.
Yeah.
He said he's making it hard on
Yeah.
them, but I heard Tolbert's
Yeah.
looking really good too.
Yeah, and Tolbert was kind of the guy that I think he was a third round pick that you needed to take a step this year, and hopefully he does, right? And I think that if he's that fourth receiver and let's say he gets 15 receptions for 100 yards, 155 yards or something like that, I think that's a great season from him, especially with the firepower that we have ahead of him, and not to mention, I mean, even though we don't have a big name tight end, I think we still have, you can kind of always count on the Cowboys tight end to get 400 yards at a minimum.
Yeah, you got your regular guys from last year. Was it Hendershot and
Yeah, I think Hendershot and Ferguson, and then you just
Ferguson.
drafted a guy in the second round, Schoonamaker maybe.
Schoonmaker,
From
Shoots
Michigan?
or whatever, but I
Yeah.
think he's hurt. He hasn't even dressed out or anything.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna kind of rely on them, and I think they're Ferguson, and I was pretty big on Ferguson and Hendershot. I think they were pretty good, but so I
Yeah, I
think
like
you can
them.
kind of bet on the three of them having, let's say they have a combined 800 yards between the three of them. I think that's fine.
Yeah, and then just one more thing, and we can move on. And then it's just, I forget we have no kicker. We still don't have a kicker.
Yeah,
We don't have a kicker, and it's not looking good from what I've heard. I heard last practice, I think 2 days ago, they both went Tristan
Was it 4-6 maybe?
Gano, and then brought in Aubrey. They did pretty bad. I think they went like 5 for 7. They both did, but then they both hit some like big kicks. And then I thought it was funny that Aubrey dude, he played in the MLS.
Really
He was a first round draft pick for Toronto in 2017.
interesting.
And they released him after a season, and then he signed for the USL, and he made his debut for the USFL 2022. And then, now he's might get a spot on the Cowboys.
Interesting. I think I mean, you never know. I mean, it's hopefully, maybe he just has a lot of growth left, and as he kind of gets better at it. But I would hate for him to learn on the job and cost.
That's
us
also
a game.
crazy. He grew up in DFW and played soccer for the Dallas Texans.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Small world. That is crazy though.
I guess kind of shifting to Dallas soccer. We can talk about FC
Look at that,
Dallas League
perfect,
stuff.
bro. I knew what I was
know.
doing, bro.
Coming off a big win, 3-0 against Necaxa, going into the round of 32, I guess, for Leagues Cup. I don't know how you feel about Leagues Cup. I think it's been good. I kind of enjoy the opportunity to have MLS and Liga MX kind of go against each other. I wish that you could kind of see some of these games more in Mexico, and rather than being just natural home games for all the MLS teams. But
And
I think the product
that's crazy to me. That's unfair, bro. How they make it all over
I
here.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And I know, like, you kind of follow Liga MX a little bit more than I do with Chivas and all that stuff. But I think it's been really good, and I think it's good for both leagues. And I mean, especially right, you have Messi coming in.
Yeah.
It's going to bring a lot of eyes to the product, and I think that it's something that I'm pretty excited about for the future. And it may not have a lot of support in the stands and may not get a lot of people there, but I think that it's only a good thing for MLS and Liga MX and soccer in the States as well as Mexico.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing that you said. It just keeps it competitive between it's always been
Absolutely.
like, oh, MLS is better. No, Liga MX, this and that. So I think it's just really cool to have every single team in there and just let them show whatever.
Let
We've
them
seen
go. I mean,
some dirty Liga MX type play. I forgot what team it was, but they were just playing dirty. And they were just
yeah,
we're just here because we have to be, and we're just gonna be kicking
yeah.
people. And I was like, yep,
I
that's
want
Liga
to say
MX
that
for you.
I want to say Chivas had a guy. I think it was last night against SKC Sporting Kansas City. There, he
Mm.
just went in and 2-footed the guy, just not even going for the ball.
I don't want to talk about
Right.
Chivas, bro. They're embarrassment right now, bro. I mean, they go to Liga MX, they're top of the table, undefeated, and they come
Yeah.
over to the U.S. and go, we forget how to play soccer, guys.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's not. It's tough. I think it's not fair. I mean, you go and you wait like a week and a half to play a real game, and then you
yeah.
go play the number one team in MLS at home, and then you have like a day long rain delay in the middle of the game too.
I was about to say,
Like,
that was crazy. I remember I just got the notification, and I thought they just suspended it, and I get a notification right after, oh, game resumed.
oh
And
no,
I'm like,
rain
what? They
delay.
just started playing at the 70th minute or whatever?
Yeah,
I
it
just thought it was
just doesn't make
crazy.
sense. So it's not ideal circumstances for everybody. I think that in the future, I think they need to find a way to have 14 groups, like
Yeah.
4 team groups. Sorry, not 14 groups, 4 team
Yeah.
groups,
Yeah, so
and
just
whether
a
that
three.
includes. I mean, maybe you add the Canadian Premier League, or you put
Oh,
USL
wow.
teams in there or
Okay.
something like that. I mean, I don't know, or
It'd
even
be, it'd
pull
be
like
cool
some
to
of the
give them a
Caribbean
chance
teams.
because you say they're trying to replicate the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, and you
Yeah,
got teams from all
and I
over
think
English
yeah, and I think
sixth
that like.
division, fifth division, fourth division, etc.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that it's just gonna make it more exciting, and it's the first season or the first year that they're doing this, so I think it's only gonna get better. I mean, as long as they prioritize the product and they don't prioritize money, but that's what are you gonna do about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's inevitable at
So
some point, but I think it's gonna get better, like you said, first year, and I think we will be seeing that. I hope we do get to see that. Take advantage
yeah,
of that
facts.
competitiveness and get smaller
So
clubs in there and just seeing fan bases that because some people don't have professional teams in their city. The only thing they
exactly,
got is USO.
exactly.
So it's
And I
awesome.
mean, imagine like a big team like Chivas or Club America going to a random USL team to go play, like just
Shoot,
something
that'd
like
be
that would
awesome
be
because you'd get
be
so many
unreal.
people there no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah, unreal. And so, looking at FC Dallas, the 2 games that they played, they had a 2-2 draw against Charlotte, lost a penalty shootout. Doesn't really matter. I mean, they blew it. I think they gave up a goal in the 97th minute or something like that to
Oh
send it to
wow.
pens, which was,
Golly.
yeah, stupid. I think this has kind of been. I think Leagues Cup as a whole has been good for FC Dallas. Looking at it from FC
Mhm.
Dallas lens, one of the big things that I noticed is that it looks like Sebastian Leget's finally over Becky G. He's kind of come back to the soccer player that
I'm sorry, bro. He's never gonna be over Becky
he
G.
fumbled the bag,
He's
bro. He
not
fumbled
over.
the bag.
If there's no way, because I could not be over it. I may look like I might be over it, but I promise you, he's not over it.
He fumbled the bag,
God.
bro. But I think he had. I want to say in the Charlotte game he had an assist, and then against Necaxa he had a goal and an assist. So it kind of looks like he's coming back around.
Hmm.
He's still showing
Just
why.
Jesus, man, just scoring.
Yeah, I mean
Man.
he's showing why he's probably. I would say probably for sure the best American striker in MLS in my
Mhm.
opinion. Just making plays. So we got a game tomorrow on Wednesday against Mazatlan, who
Okay.
topped their group with FC Juarez and Austin FC, who got smoked. Got grouped. They didn't make it out. So big game against Mazatlan, and then if
Mhm.
we beat Mazatlan, hey, Messi to Dallas could be a
Dude,
thing in
that's
the round of 16.
we need both of them to win Miami and do you think they play that game at
No.
FC Dallas?
Yeah.
It will be
Dallas,
it will be
Miami
in
would be here.
Frisco. It won't be like
would be
AT&T or
in
something that got a
Frisco.
bigger stadium.
Yeah, crazy, right? They imagine they could probably fill the Cotton Bowl or they could fill AT&T,
Oh,
but
for
no,
easily. Easily.
it'll be in Frisco. So yeah, and
Yeah, I love it, man.
that's kind of all I had for FC Dallas. I think that they're kind of winding down. They've kind of had a pretty mid-season, but hopefully, I
I
think
think so
League's
too.
Cup will
Yeah,
kind
just
of.
like kind of mid-table stuff. But yeah, it looks like you said
Yeah, I
they're
think.
showing potential in the League's Cup.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they make a little run and kind of show that maybe somebody knows how to mark Messi and Busquets and don't give Busquets a ton of time on the ball.
Jordi Alba, if he's able to
So
play already.
yeah, I know, bro.
Godly.
Yeah. So and then really the last stuff that I got is the Mavs. I don't know. I know you want to hit on some of those offseason moves. Talk about what they did.
Yeah. So Grant Williams, lovely
Big,
addition.
big ad.
Big addition, I think. For defense and stuff like that. And I didn't think they'd actually do something, but they did. Also, re-signing Kyrie was amazing. Finally get to see a full season of them, hopefully, unless he asks for a trade. But we still missing a center. Dwight Powell is still our starting center as of now.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I mean, I don't
So
know how long it's going to take Derek Lively to kind of come around. I mean, hopefully
yeah,
sooner rather than later. I want to say that I
yeah. I
heard
heard
that
he's just gonna be a really big project player, is from what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You hope he they're trying to bring him under Dwight Powell's wing, and I think it's just off the court basketball, not on the court. I hope he's not following what he does on the court.
Yeah, I know, man.
But I mean, Dwight Powell's a good guy off the court, practice and just like effort and stuff like that. So I guess he's useful at some point, Dwight Powell. And I'm just happy we signed Dwight Powell. I mean, signed him to a vet minimum, I think, or just barely anything.
2 for 4, maybe 2 years, $4 million.
Yeah, something like that. So I was like, that's fine with me. Like I said, I mean, we still need a center. I mean, we'll see how they do this year, and they just got to go back to being that defensive team of just trying harder on defense, especially Luka.
Hey, he's skinny Luka now. He's skinny
Luka, bro. I feel like this happens every summer, though. I feel like if you see those pictures of the rotation of stuff, it's like Luka, and it's like fat. And then it's like, you see that one picture. You see that one picture of Luka, and you go, oh, skinny Luka. Season starts, he gets fatigued, and then it just.
And then Luka Doncic is back. Yeah, man.
Luka Doncic, bro. I want basketball back again already too. Like I just want him.
Yeah.
I just want to watch him play.
I think so too. And we got the FIBA World Cup coming up, and when I was looking to see how many Mavs are in it, I kind of forgot how many people we had. Obviously, Luka, right? He's with Slovenia, and then you got the 2 Aussies and Dante Exum, which I completely forgot that we signed him.
Yeah.
And then Josh Green, which I knew Josh Green was there, and I think Josh Green's gonna take a big step this year.
I really hope so. We've been waiting. I felt like we saw a little bit of that spark this year.
Yeah, I think so
a little
too,
bit
right?
where he was on a tear. And I don't know if you remember, it was when he got in that scuffle with Austin Reeves, and then that's when it just it went to shit. Austin Reeves was a hooper, got paid, and Josh Green just went to an average NBA player again, if anything.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully he takes a step, and then the last 2 guys we got are Maxey with Germany, and then Dwight Powell. Speak of the devil with Canada. So I don't know. I mean,
that guy's Canadian.
Yeah, I do too. So it'll be interesting. I think the Mavs. We can talk about the Mavs as they get closer and kind of get a little bit more of the preseason going on, which we got a couple months.
No,
still,
for sure. And then I'm sure at one point we'll try to talk about the NBA Cup and see how. I'm excited how that's gonna work, and just again, American sports trying to take in European concepts.
Which I think, I mean, it's just more playoff basketball, and playoff basketball is fun. So I think
they're trying to make it more meaningful. I think get the ratings up. I think they see that regular season basketball isn't. I mean, you look at everything else, unless you're football, because it happens once a week, so you have time to just sit there and watch it. But like basketball, every other day, every 2 days. Baseball every day. It's hard for people just to like. I mean, people do it. I mean, I know I watch it. I sit there. I'll watch regular season basketball, regular season baseball, but it's hard for other people to do it. I know it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just like the monotony of day-to-day stuff that you kind of just forget how good you have it until you don't have it. So that's where NFL does it right, I guess, where you only get it once a week for half of the year.
Imagine if they'll throw in relegation maybe at some point in the NFL.
Who knows?
God, I just don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I don't. Promote NCAA teams up? Start bringing up the
NCAA teams, bro. Oh my God, the Bamas.
Yeah,
the Georgias, the Ohio States.
Instant way to get smoked. So
get exposed real quick.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man.
that's
I
all
don't got anything
man.
else, bro. You?
Nah, that's it, man. I'm pumped. We got a lot of good stuff going on right now. So I mean, football's getting ready to get back in swing, and you know, can't wait for the college season to start. TCU's about to get back up, get back
Yeah, you're gonna have
going.
to get me into that, bro. I'm not a big
Facts.
college guy. I told you.
We'll have to get that going.
But now
There's a lot of stuff
definitely
going
be
around
at
with
TCU.
the like realignment of the conferences. So
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of stuff kicking around. A lot of
Yeah,
stuff kicking
so you're gonna
around.
have to
So
teach me and the audience of that stuff. I'm sure that most
hey,
of the audience will
deal.
know, but you're gonna
Hey,
have to
I
teach me
got
while
it.
you
Don't
do
even
it.
worry. There's next week we'll talk about. There should be some stuff that happens to the tail end of this week. So we'll kind of recap some of that stuff next week and see what
For sure.
happens.
So yeah, we're gonna try and do this every week, like you said, once a week, and then maybe we get in the groove of stuff, maybe up it a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing talking about the World Cup. We'll talk more about the World Cup next week. Let's see where the U.S. is, if they're in it or not. And
Hopefully.
yeah, and let's see where the Rangers are at that point, or just baseball in general, and then maybe we'll hear some more stories about the Cowboys.
Facts.
Sounds
Might have
good.
a preseason game getting ready to come up, so have that talk
That
about.
too. Exactly. So,
That's it, man.
all right. So we'll catch you on next week.